All right, welcome everybody. Joe, Passion Unchained here. Today, we are going over the profile of a guy that is in a self-improvement group I'm in. We're going to chew his Tinder profile apart and learn a lot from it in the process. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. This is the next Tinder profile roast. You've probably noticed I look a little different, or perhaps a lot different than before, and that's because I changed the lens on the camera that I'm using. I'm curious to see how this will look, and I've also changed a video mode on my camera. I can go deep into the weeds photography-wise about what's changed, but I think this new look will look really cool. So we'll see how it works out for this video, and let me know in the comments if you like how the last video looked or you like how this video looked. I'll go through each photo individually, and then I'm going to let you know what I think of the profile as a whole. It might not be what you think I think of it. After that, I'm going to go into each individual photo, let you know exactly why it's good or bad, and help you learn how to apply the insights from this into your profile. This first one here, we have him on a bike going through some streets. It looks really cool area. I don't know exactly where this is. It kind of looks like Amsterdam. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Probably just the bike making me think that. Looks kind of candid. This next one's actually a video. You have this cat booping his nose and then unbooping it and then booping it forever in perpetuity. This third photo is him playing cricket. It looks like he's just waiting around. Maybe it's somebody else's turn. He's just standing there with his hand and his cricket bat, kind of limp to his side, looking off into the distance. This next photo has him with a cocktail in a suit, looking off into the distance. This fifth photo, he is high-fiving a dog. In the sixth photo, he has some stir-fry. He's looking at the camera. And in this last photo, he's pointing at some axes in an axe-throwing board. So I'm going to give you a spoiler of what I think of his profile. I think he's a great-looking guy, and I think there's a lot of solid photos in here. And overall, it's high above average when it comes to what most guys put on Tinder. There's one fundamental flaw, though, and that is in most of these photos, he looks a little too posed. It's extremely important in dating apps for you to look like this is more of a candid shot. That's why I really like the idea of the paparazzi factor. It's something I've talked about in other videos. You want it to look like you're not aware of the camera. That's what I mean by candid. You're not aware of the camera. Obviously you are. It's a subtle line to walk when it comes to you're posing, but you don't want to look posed. You want to look like somebody just happened to capture a good photo of you in the moment without you knowing about it. That's the main criticism I have, and it is a very strong criticism of this profile. Now, I'm not saying this profile is bad. This profile is fucking amazing. There are some solid photos in here that are candid looking, and then there's some solid photos that are not candid looking that while that's going to go against them, it'll still make him look very attractive to girls. Let's go through the photos individually, and I'll teach you some interesting lessons to learn along the way. This first one, where he's on the bike, I love it because like I said in other videos, for the first photo, it's important to show yourself clearly. Girls want to know very quickly whether you're attractive or not. And they can look deeper into your profile if they want to, but they want to know quickly whether you're their type. And this shows him clearly, it's candid enough, and it's very well framed and well centered. His fashion is pretty decent. He's got a nice fitting shirt. He's got a pendant, a necklace of some sort. It's a solid photo. I would rate this high above average. Maybe not maxed out, but it's quite good. This next one with the cat, it is fucking adorable. You have the cat booping his nose. It makes him look very friendly and very connected to animals and friendly towards this cat. The thing I will say about cats, though, is cats versus dogs in dating profile photos, especially for guys, cats can give off the wrong vibe. It can make you feel more closed off and more introverted. It's not nearly as good as the same video clip with a dog. If this guy could get the same clip but with a dog, I think that would increase his attractiveness significantly with this photo. That said, it's quality, and I do like it. And we're going to refer back to this when it comes to the dog photo later in the profile. One thing I will say with videos on Tinder, And this depends on your area and this depends on your personal experience. But when I'm swiping on a dating app and I see a video, it often takes a few moments to load, sometimes a little bit longer depending on my coverage. And when a video fails to load on a girl's profile, my default is often to swipe left. And it's the same for girls. If a girl's swiping on your profile and you have a video that's not showing up and it's taking a few moments, she's going to get a little bit frustrated because you're in a flow state when you're swiping. You're like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And if something inhibits that, you want to continue that flow state, which means you're just going to swipe left. So my caution, I'm not saying this means never put videos. My caution is to test it out, try it without. And if you notice that even if it's a good video, it's getting you a lot less matches, it's probably because for some people it's not loading fast enough. So just be careful about that. That might come into account depending on how good coverage is in your area and other things. So you have this one where he is doing cricket. It is a thing that British people do. Us in America don't know about it. They'll say that's because we're uncivilized, but I think it's because they're a little bit too posh here and there. But quips aside, I love this photo because he looks pretty candid. The fact that there are people in the background also gives me a good vibe about this photo because it makes it look even more candid because the people in the background, they're kind of just randomly there. They don't look like they're posing. They don't look like they're part of it. It gives the feel, which is probably the accurate truth about this photo, that this was created just in the moment. It was just a day of kind of thing. The paparazzi factor is very high in this photo. And like I share in other videos, it tells a little bit of a story about him and gives more of an idea of who he is to girls, more of a feeling, more of a vibe. This fourth photo is too posed in my opinion. He looks really cool, don't get me wrong. And this would be a fucking solid Instagram photo. But there's a lot better ways to get good photos of you with a suit. That's one of the things that's really important about online dating profile photos. It's not just about how cool you look. And I went over this in the last video. It's not just about how cool you look. It's about what story it tells about you and how natural and candid you seem in the photo. In this one, he does not seem natural and he does not seem candid. It seems very posed and very put together. There are a lot of other good photos in this profile that will handle it, that will get you matches. I would suggest taking this photo off your profile. You could replace it with another photo of you in a suit. I'm going to put some examples up here. Maybe walking down the street. Now, these photos look somewhat posed, yes, but in my opinion, they look a little less posed. If you have yourself in a suit walking down the street, it is a more casual, candid vibe. Even if it might be a little bit posed, yes, there is definitely a little bit of a sense of being posed in the shot, but it gives you more of a feeling of natural walk rather than we set the situation up just for the photo. This next one with the dog, fucking love it. The dog's giving him a high five. He is looking down at the dog and just being a friendly guy. This one's going to put a lot of women at ease. Even if you're looking for something casual, it's important to make women feel comfortable enough to meet you. You don't want them to feel like you're going to harm them in any way, shape, or form. Even if you want to put sexual tension and build that vibe, build that excitement, you still want to make sure that they know that you're a safe person. This photo is going to help girls feel like that. And also, one thing I like about it is it's slightly imperfect. And that is a good thing because if you have really great photos like this guy has, sometimes girls can be like, even if they're perfectly candid, they can feel like this is too fake because your photos are too good, right? Now, in my experience, having professional photos on your profile is actually a plus. I'm going to throw up a text here I got from a client specifically about that. I'm going to throw up another text here from a client as well, specifically about that. So you can see from the field, from actual girls and actual guys and actual clients of mine, that this isn't really a big deal. But that said, some clients have had a lot more success using mostly photos that we've taken, plus a couple of cell phone photos that they've taken on their own. That seems to make you seem more real. If all your photos are perfect, sometimes a couple of cell phone photos make you seem more like a real person. And while this photo is made from a professional camera, the pose is kind of imperfect because he's looking down, you can't really see his face. And in my opinion, with the context of the rest of his profile, it's actually a plus. Now, I told you I'd go back to the cat video when I talked about this photo, and in my opinion, you only need one of them. I do like the cat photo, but like I said before, cats versus dogs on dating apps, dogs will always win, and I do like this shot in general. I would delete the cat video and keep this photo in. I love this photo. but I have a very significant issue with it. First of all, the colors in the background are a bit distracting. Second of all, his facial expression, he's very wide-eyed, and it makes him look kind of surprised or scared. You want to have more of a squinch. Although, for something like this, maybe even a laugh would work really well. Something very candid. And that's also another issue I have with this photo is it looks very posed. It looks very like, hey, let's take my camera out and you cook for the camera. Now, of course, girls, if you have a professional camera or you have a really, really well-posed shot, they might feel like, oh, this guy posed for the shot. But if you look candid in it, they'll feel good about the shot even if they mentally know that you posed for it. This photo feels a bit posed, and that has to do with the stiffness of him, the fact that I don't see any stove nearby. Maybe there is a stove nearby, but it almost looks like he just walked in the middle of the kitchen and is like using the wok in the middle of the kitchen. It could be that he's doing it over some fire, over the stove, but I don't see the stove, and it doesn't really make sense for him to do that in the middle of the kitchen. That plus the wide-eyed stare and the more stiff body language gives me the impression that this is very posed. So my suggestion would be this is a great idea for a shot. Having a shot of you cooking gives you that boyfriend vibe, but not necessarily in a way that will turn off any casual dates. You could still get casual dates with this vibe, with this shot, but it's still positive for no matter what kind of relationship you're looking for. This is a great shot. I would just retake it. I think the implementation leaves a little bit to be wanted here, but it's approaching it. Definitely better than other ones I've seen, so keep at it and get a better shot and you'll have this down. The last photo, axe throwing, is a classic. I fucking love that one. The only issue I have with this one is that it's very posed. I've seen other great axe throwing photos, and actually one of the next Tinder profile roasts I'm doing, the guy has an axe throwing photo in it, and it's great. What I don't like about this is it's like, hey, look at this. I'm cool. It's a very posed shot, and it's not even hiding the fact that it's posed. And every now and then, a posed shot in context can be okay. But this shot, it feels too much like, hey, look at me, I'm cool, instead of like, hey, I just got a photo of me throwing an axe. If you do go axe throwing again, for the guy, as you know, I'm sure you're watching this at least once. I'm sure you're watching this to see what I have to say about your profile. If you do go axe throwing again, get a photo of you in the middle of your swing. That looks a lot more candid, and it also looks a lot more cool. Even if it gets shot from the back, because obviously you don't want somebody to stand in front of you. If you get it shot from the back, if it's later in your profile, they don't need to know how you look. That's already been established. So you can have a photo shot from behind of you in the middle of throwing an axe, and they're gonna know who it is. They're gonna know what you look like, and it'll just make you look like you do cool things. So to summarize, this photo is fucking solid. There are a couple of photos in there I feel are a bit too posed. And that's a huge lesson for everybody, is that it's not how cool your photos look. It's not how good your photos look. It's how candid you look and the story it tells about you. Now, you do want your photos to look good and you do want to look cool in them, but that is not the primary focus. That is not what really drives girls to swipe right on your profile. What drives girls to swipe right on your profile is, what story do these photos tell about you? And do you feel candid? Do you feel like this is actually you? Or does it feel like you're faking it just for the camera? I hope this helped you out. If you want me to do a Tinder roast of you, then reach out. There is an email in the description below. If you want me to help you with your dating profile photos, then reach out. There's a link in the description below. You can check out how I do what I do, and you can become my next success story and get more matches and more dates on dating apps. I've helped well over 100 guys. I have 4 clients in a row who are paying me to help them get more matches on dating apps, and I'm really excited to help them out. Some of them I'm sure you'll see here on the channel, some examples of photos I've taken down there, and then of course you've seen examples I've taken on the rest of the cities I've been to. I've been to about 25 cities so far, and I'm excited to help out people around the world. So feel free to reach out if you want to be the next, and I am excited to do more of these, and I'm excited to help you out more. Cheers.